Hey, guess what?
We're Floridians! Before we get into this week's episode, a quick update on our RV mattress.
How do you like the mattress?
I love our mattress. Now that we've had it for a while.
We've had it for almost 3 months.
Yep. Amazing.
And, you know, people ask all the time, how comfortable is it? Do you really cool down? Like, all the normal questions, right? Like, is it holding up? And I will say that before I got this mattress with the topper on it, before this mattress, I woke up probably twice a night with heat flashes, and I would turn on the air conditioner or the fan or point the fan directly at me or whatever, and I would wake him up. But since April, thank goodness, I have not had any heat flashes.
Yay!
Now summer's just starting.
High five, don't leave me hanging.
Summer's just starting, but we've been in some pretty hot weather and I still have not had any heat flashes. So I've actually gotten good night's sleeps. I have not woken up hurting at all. You haven't woken up hurting, and you've had back surgery, so that's a plus.
Yep. I think it's the cooling technology that kind of sets it apart.
Right. Well, we were worried about it either being too soft for him or too firm for me, so we got the medium, and it has, I think, been the best of both worlds for us.
And it comes in soft, medium, and firm.
Yep, soft, medium, and firm, and then of course different thicknesses as well. So we got the thickest one with the cooling technology, and I'm pretty happy with it.
So nice. We do have a promo code for you. It's promo code STRANGE for 20% off.
It's www.rvmattress.com/strange.
Yep.
Takes you to our discount for you. It'll automatically be applied.
So another cool fact about this mattress, if you didn't know, is it's made right here in America, and it's free shipping.
Yes, and they're based out of Arizona.
Yep.
And there's a 120-day free trial. They stick by their word. They're easy to work with.
They definitely will work with you if you're not 100% satisfied.
Yep. And then they also offer other things too. They offer bedding and pillows and shams, all those good things. We haven't dabbled into any of that side yet, but we will because it's pretty good company.
Yep. So if you're like most people and you get a new RV and it's a crappy mattress like everybody else gets, check out rvmattress.com/strange and get your 20% discount. You will not be disappointed. Now back to our regularly scheduled program. What's up, everyone? Welcome back to One Strange Adventure. Welcome to the next video. Today we are talking about the process of becoming Floridians.
If you don't know what a Floridian is, it means we are now
residents of Florida.
So we're going to be talking about that process a little bit because a lot of people have lots of questions.
Yes, and guess what? It was not as easy as we thought it was going to be.
I think it would have been easier if a couple of things would have happened. One, if we would have actually done it like while we were in Florida for the winter. And then two, if we actually owned our vehicle, we wouldn't have to go through the long process.
Right, so if you have liens, there's additional things you have to do.
So if you have liens on your vehicle or your camper or anything else, be prepared for it to take time. There are 3 really popular mail forwarding services that you can use. One is Escapees, which we have no history with. The second one was the traveling mailbox, which did really well for our first year. Virginia didn't use them as a actual address for residency, so we had to go with somebody else.
So we use St. Brendan's Isle.
Yep, so this time we were with St. Brendan's Isle, which is an amazing service that actually lets you have step-by-step instructions on everything that you need to do.
Part of their service is it's the mail service itself, right? And that's $13.99 a month.
Yep.
And then you can pay to have mail forwarded to you if you want to.
Right. So Harold got a package in the mail and it went to our traveling mailbox address, and we paid $2 for it to come to us, and you can choose which type of delivery you would like, if you want it to be expedited, right, or whatever you choose just comes out of your funds.
So the way that works is that you actually put in $100 deposit, and then they just draw from that, and once it gets under $10, they'll draw another $100 for your account. So you always have money in there for them to use for the mail itself. And then the other thing is that once you get your account, if you want to become Florida residents, you don't have to. you could just use them as a mail service. But if you want to become Florida residents, there's actually a tab on your profile that says forms. And those forms helped out tremendously because they actually provide step-by-step instructions for each document, what you need, what you have to do,
not only that,
where it has to go.
Not only that, when we printed the forms, it gives you a copy of the form with all the, like, it gives you like instructions, like line 5 you put in this, line 7 you put in that, so there's no guesswork on it. The only question we had was which address do we use as our domicile address, because a forwarding service, it can't be considered a domicile,
Right, because it's a mailbox.
And so we called them and they actually gave us the actual address to use for our domicile paperwork, which is the one that you'll use for like voter registration as well.
We've called several times. I have called several times.
Yes. And so that's another good part with them. They're everybody's there in the building, very responsive. They answer calls. They'll send you emails when your mail gets, sent there to let you know you have a new mail item, and you can decide to scan it, or if you know that it's something important that you don't want them to see, you can just say, I want you to send it to me, and then the envelope never gets opened.
Also, another cool feature of SBI, or the St. Bernard's is that if you're a part-time traveler, you can actually deactivate and go, like, basically just not have to pay for a little while you're not traveling. So if you're not on the road, you don't have to be paying for the service.
Right, so like Snowbird, so if you only need it during the winter time, you just activate it when you need it and then deactivate it when you don't.
Yep. And I want to let you know, we have no affiliation with them.
Nope, just a service we're using. Now, if you are going to use it just as a mail forwarding service, you do have to fill out the form for the U.S. Post Office to let the post office know that it's okay for them to have your mail on your behalf.
That's the first step, is that you actually have to fill out the form for each person or entity. Yep. Since we have One Stranger Venture LLC, we had to fill out all the forms for each of us and our LLC, so that our mail could be sent there. So that's actually the first step, and you have to get that notarized and then mailed in for them to be able to accept mail on your behalf.
And it only takes a couple of days for them to activate, and they'll let you know that you're active now, and you can start using that address at all your mail places.
Where we are at right now, we are at the UPS store because we signed up for a service that is helping us. We have 2 forms that we need to fill out today at the UPS store, get it notarized, and then get them mailed in. But it's the first step.
So if you don't know, the UPS store, actually, you can email them the forms that you need to have printed, and they will print them for you.
Yep, and then notarize.
And then they have a notary on duty at most locations all day long. So just call in advance to make sure that the notary is there and that they're able to do the form that you need.
We used the service to close on our house when we sold it.
Yep, and we did it for the traveling mailbox when we did for our mailing service.
Yep, so we'll be changing that to a new traveling mailbox. It's not that service though, so more to come on that. The next thing you need to do is your declaration of domicile, if you choose to be a resident of Florida.
Right, and you are going to be domiciled in Clay County, which is where Green Cove Springs is located, which is for the mail forwarding service. And that form has to be filled out, notarized, and then sent in with a check to Clay County Clerk's Office.
Yeah, pretty easy. That one's actually pretty simple.
Yeah. We got that done while we were in Florida. And
then they send the confirmation back to your mailbox. So that's actually the first piece of mail we got was saying we are residents of Florida. Well, we domicile. Our domicile is registered in Florida.
Yeah, and so once you're registered as a domicile of Florida, then you can go through the process of your insurance and your driver's license and your registrations and all those good things.
Which is when the fun starts.
Yes. So first step is moving your insurance to the place that you're planning on domiciling.
So far, we have we've turned in our 1508 forms. The second thing we did was we forwarded our intent to domicile forms, or we did those. We got them notarized. We mailed them to the clerk's office. Now we actually got a response back from that, and there's a stamp on it that says recorded as of 12/20 in our case. And so that is done. Mail forms, domicile forms, complete. At this point, we have now gotten a quote from State Farm from moving our insurance from Virginia to Florida. We started while we were down in Florida. We have actually had our insurance through State Farm for a really long time, like second generation spin-off accounts.
We're grandfathered in.
So we wanted to stay with State Farm, which we've heard about, like, not good with full-timers and all that. I'm not going to debate insurances. You guys choose whoever you want.
Right.
But we stayed with State Farm, and when we called the State Farm there in Green Cove Springs, they are very familiar with St. Brendan's Isles processes.
Yes.
And what you're doing. Yes. So they worked with us.
Like, as soon as we gave them the address, she knew exactly what we needed.
Yeah, she knew exactly what we were doing. What you want to do is you want to call and get everything kind of worked out and set up, because you have to have insurance before you can get your registration and your license and all that other good stuff, but you don't want to activate it yet. So what we did is we actually just set everything up. She put the profile in, and then I was to give a call just before we go, like the day before, so that they can make it active for us and give us the information we need. That is pretty simple, fairly straightforward.
Yep.
And
the only non-straightforward side about insurance in Florida is Florida is the third highest state for insurance in the country.
We learned that quick, and it's partly because it's a no-fault state, which means your insurance is going to pay for any injuries or auto repairs in an event of an accident up to a certain amount. Doesn't matter who's at fault.
Right. And then after that, if they need to, they will go to the other person's insurance and
pay and do whatever they need to
do their stuff on the back end.
Yep.
Completely different. We had to learn a bunch of stuff.
Terminology is different. End result's the same.
Yeah, end result's the same. So I actually got a declaration of insurance from our current insurance, and then got what she was telling us that we needed for that one, and just compared the numbers and made sure we were covered exactly the same way, and it all worked out.
At this point, we've set up our mail service. We have registered to Domicile in Florida. Declaration of Domicile.
Yep.
And we have our insurance kind of queued up.
Ready to go.
Not active.
Just ready to go. Because you don't want to start paying for something that you don't need yet. So
that moves us into vehicle registration. So, in the state of Florida, if you want to register a vehicle or move the registration, the title to Florida, when there is a lien on the vehicle, you have to do what is called a VIN verification. Care to explain why I have to take you to the police department?
Because I'm always a troublemaker.
Yeah, it is not one strange adventure getting in trouble.
No, so in order to get our vehicle registrations completed here in Florida, we have to verify our VIN number. So you have to fill out a form for VIN verification, and you can either get a notary, a police officer, one of the tax collectors, or a dealership to verify your VIN. None of the notaries that are at the UPS stores or your local print shops can do the notary, because they have to come out and look at the vehicle.
Yeah, they won't leave their store.
They won't leave their store. So you could either go to the police department or sheriff's department, or you can actually ask for dispatch to send a police officer to your location.
Call the non-emergency line.
Call the non-emergency number. So I called the clerk, and she said that we are more than welcome to go get the forms and bring them to her. It's $5 a page, $5 a vehicle to verify. So that's what we're doing. We're sitting in the parking lot and getting ready to go inside.
All right. Let's go get in trouble. We now have our forms filled out, and the police officer had to validate the VIN, called it in from the parking lot of the police station, and then sign the papers. It went really smooth. It was actually a pretty easy process. I felt bad having to take time out of their day. I know they're busy and they got way more important issues to do or to deal with, but we had to get it done. And he was really nice. He was awesome. If he ever gets to see this video, wish you the best. But anyways, now I am at UPS store, and I'm going to overnight these to DMV. Try to get this stuff done as fast as possible. You have to include a photocopy of your license. Write your information down at the top, like a phone number and an email address, because they will contact you to let you know how much it's going to cost. And then once they get the lien information in, this whole process is much more complicated if you have loans than if you just own the vehicle outright. But we have our truck and our RV, which still have loans on them, or liens. So we have to go through this process. Hopefully we can get it done, but I'm gonna go and get these things overnighted so that we can get it done as fast as possible. Another 20 bucks, but it should be there within 2 days. So hopefully by Friday, DMV will have it, start their processing. Now, you don't have to overnight everything like we are, but we're trying to get it done as fast as possible. So leaving it to the mail service, yeah, probably it would add some time, but hopefully it gets there safely, and we can start the next step. So we had to drive our vehicles down to Florida and make sure that we had that VIN verification done. The
deputy came out and verified the VIN, looked at the mileage, made sure everything was like legit, and then he had to look at our registrations.
He called it in, make sure there's nothing suspicious going on.
He did basically like a little background check to make sure we were who we said we were, and it was what we needed. And then he signs off with his his badge number, and they say, okay.
You have to take that and your vehicle registration paperwork that you get from St. Brendan's Isles website, complete it, and then you have to send it in. Mm-hmm. Well, if there's a lien on there, that can take months.
Usually 6 to 8 weeks.
It took a couple months. We were in Arizona by time that came in.
And then they called and said, hey, we have everything. We're like, we're in Arizona and we're not making our way back to Florida anytime soon.
Right.
So it took us longer because we chose to go someplace else.
If you're going to be in Florida for like 6 months, you could probably knock it out while you're there.
And I did find out you don't actually have to have the vehicles in Florida to verify the VIN number, as long as you have a notary. Anybody can do it. Any notary can do it from anywhere. So if you want to start the process, beforehand, like when you're still out traveling before you make it to Florida, by all means, go ahead. Like, get it knocked out. If we would have known that, we would have started this process a long time ago.
Yeah. So once you get your documents completed for registration, it's an application for title movement.
So tell them to move your title from your state to Florida.
Yep. And you have your verification of VIN paperwork. You get a copy of your driver's license as well. You stick it in a package, and then you're going to send it to the tax collector's office. And you have to use the one in Clay County.
Yep. The one closest to your service.
Green Cove Springs.
Once we knew that everything was completed and they were ready to go, because they called us, we went onto their website and scheduled for our registration and driver's license to be done.
Here's the thing that can take a little bit of a time as well, because everything has to be done by appointment only. If you schedule your driver's license session and your registration session, you might be able to get one like in the same week or by the next week. But if you want to do a out-of-state transfer that includes license and registration, it might be a couple weeks before an appointment opens up for that. So either way, when we got there, she was like, we're going to do it all at once anyways.
Yeah.
But I would recommend, I signed up for the out-of-state transfer for license and registration, and then for her, the license.
Yeah, so the vehicle is in his name, so we only had to do the one registration, and then once that was completed, I could do my driver's license. So his appointment was for 10:15, mine was for 10:30.
But they combined them.
And then we both went up to the desk at the same time, and they did all of it.
And I don't want to leave out the fact that leading up to this, we went ahead and registered or activated our insurance with State Farm. So they had emailed us the documents that we needed, but we had actually visited the State Farm office and they printed the documents out as well.
Yep. So we were able to take a physical copy with us to the clerk's office that morning.
Yep.
Hey guys.
Good morning. Good morning. Go ahead.
We just went to our insurance agent's office.
We are in Green Cove Springs today.
Yes.
This is the last part to becoming a Florida resident.
We had to make sure that we had all of our paperwork in place for insurance. You have to have insurance on your vehicle and the trailer before you can do your registration at the DMV.
Tax collector.
Well, but she called it a DMV office, so it's okay. Whatever you want.
But we had appointments because it's appointment only, and we made these appointments a couple months ago.
Yes. So you have to have an appointment if you're coming for out of state to transfer over like your license and your registrations. You want to make sure you select that because it's more of a process than if you're just coming in state and registering a new vehicle. So since we were coming from Virginia to Florida, we had to make sure we did the appropriate stuff.
Yep. We had to make sure we had our current license with us, our birth certificates,
Social Security cards.
I got a pay stub. I've got everything I could possibly think of that was on the list. I hope we have
just
everything.
in case. Because
we literally drove from Virginia down to Florida just to do this, and then when we leave the tax collector's office,
we're going back to
Virginia.
Yep.
So we hope we have everything done, but by the end of this day, we should be Florida residents.
Yes.
Official Florida residents.
We'll let you know how it goes.
Yep.
All right, so applying for your driver's license in Florida is a little different because you have to have your vehicle and your RV, camper, trailer, whatever it is that you're living in, registered first.
Because that's going to actually create your license,
address.
Like your address for your license. It's really weird.
So the address on our license is actually the license plate for the camper,
right?
Because that is the place that we actually live.
So home is where you park it.
Home is truly where you park it.
That's very true for us.
So you have to do the registration for that first, and then once you do have that registration done, then you can actually proceed with your driver's license information.
Yes, so it was very helpful to have all of these documents done and sent in and processed. She was like, thank you so much for doing all this work ahead of time.
We walked in with our packet and she goes, oh my gosh, you did all of this in advance? This is gonna make my life so much easier. Right. So it might not be required, but it's what we needed to do, so we made sure we got it done. So it was helpful. So
in the same appointment there, we actually got our driver's license as well. And so for me, she had to actually have one document more than I did. They actually require 2 proofs of residency for your driver's license. One being the vehicle you just registered, which is why you have to do that first. And then 2 for us was our insurance that we had just gotten. Yep. And then on top of that, you also need your current driver's license from your state that you're coming from. And birth certificate or passport. That will determine whether your driver's license will determine on if you need to take an actual test or not, depending on when it expires and which state it's from, because some states have different driving requirements from Florida. So we did not have to take a test. Yes. And then with that, you can have a birth certificate or passport. My birth certificate has my maiden name on it, so I also had to have my marriage certificate or marriage license. To show the change of name. To show my change of name. So if your birth certificate has anything different than your driver's license or what you're coming in as, you need to make sure you have your chain of proof to show your name change. And then the last thing was your Social Security card, which I had lost and was freaking out. But you can take a pay stub or a W-2 as long as it shows your insurance or it shows your Social Security number, or which 1099, which mine do not. So I was still freaking out. And when we got in there, she actually let me sign a like an affirmation of Social Security number. So so there's a form you can sign to don't freak out. It's okay. We got through all of that. We got our vehicles registered. We got our license, and then we got our license plates and put them on the vehicles. And now we're Floridians. Yay! Kind of an end of an era. As I was sitting here thinking about it, like, man, I was born in Michigan. I was born in Michigan, but moved to Virginia when I was like 3 years old. Something different between Virginia and Florida. Florida does not use front license plates. Virginia does. Really hanging on. There we go. So it is a lengthy process if you don't know exactly like what it entails, but the service that we got, and this is the reason we went with the service, was so that we could have help.
Yeah,
as
help
we went
along the way. We didn't want to be doing it blinded, right?
Right.
Like, that's not fun. So
Yeah.
that's why we're sharing with you our steps. If you want to use St. Brendan's Isle, great.
Again, no affiliation, no incentive for us
I don't
to
even think
share.
they don't offer
Yeah.
affiliate programs.
But now we're Floridians and we're super excited and we get to go down there and we'd be like,
I get a discount at Universal and Disney.
yes, I know she's super happy about that. You know what I'm happy about? The benefits of being a Floridian over Virginia.
Michaela is getting in-state tuition.
In-state tuition for college because she wants to be a marine biologist. No state income tax and no personal property tax like Virginia, and no annual state inspections on the vehicle. So
Now-
while insurance was a little bit more, it is so worth it.
I say we're saving on the
For us.
the long run. And I will say that you do have to pay the fees for the registration of the vehicle and the fees
Each year.
for your driver's license. The fee to register, like your initial registration, is going to be more than the
It was like $600 for us to our DMV visit.
the DMV itself. Yeah, it was like $632, and that was to do all of it. So our registration renewal will only probably be about $100 every year. So that's not bad. And then of course your driver's license has to renew every so often as well. I do have another side note. If you watch this far and you actually like to be part of the voter registration process, you cannot register to vote at the DMV.
We found that out. We got a rejection.
We got a rejection letter.
There's an extra document on St. Brendan's Isle's website that you can fill out, and it gives you step-by-step instructions on how to do it and what address to use.
It actually takes you to a website to fill out everything, to register to vote digitally, and then it tells you exactly where to fill out what and walk you through that. So we're going to be doing that process because our rejection letter just came for our voter registration. It was like, sorry, you can't use that address. so do not do it through DMV or the tax collector when you go. Just register afterwards.
All right. Well, I hope you found this information helpful. If you're deciding to become a Florida resident, consider St. Brendan's Isle. It's worked great for us.
Yeah.
And if you like this video, make sure you give it a thumbs up. If you really like it, make sure you subscribe.
Ring the bell so you get notified when we release our next video.
If you want to be a member, we have Patreon available too. So there's a link down below if you want to join the community. We have some pretty cool perks on that too. Until the next strange adventure.
Keep making your own.